If you're over 60 and you've noticed your arms looking thinner, your legs feeling weaker, or everyday tasks like climbing stairs getting harder, you are not alone. Most people are told this is just normal aging. They're told muscle loss is inevitable, that after 60 your body simply can't build or maintain muscle the way it used to. So they're advised to eat more protein, drink milk, eat cheese, and maybe add a supplement or two. But here's the problem. For many seniors, following this common advice is actually making muscle loss worse, not better. Let me ask you something. Have you ever increased dairy, especially cheese, thinking it would help your bones and muscles, only to feel more stiff, more inflamed, and still weaker over time? That's because there's a hidden issue almost nobody talks about, especially when it comes to muscle loss after 60. It's not just about protein. It's about inflammation, digestion, hormone signaling, and how your aging body actually responds to certain foods. Cheese, particularly the kind most people eat every day, may be silently accelerating muscle breakdown in older adults. And the saddest part is that it's often recommended as a healthy choice for seniors. Today, we're going to talk about why that happens, which cheese you should avoid if you want to protect your muscle, and what you should eat instead if your goal is to reverse muscle loss naturally, safely, and realistically after 60. As we age, our bodies go through a process called anabolic resistance. That's a fancy way of saying your muscles don't respond to protein the way they used to. When you were younger, a modest amount of protein could easily trigger muscle repair and growth. After 60, your muscles need stronger signals, better digestion, and lower inflammation to do the same job. This is where food quality becomes far more important than food quantity. Most cheese eaten in the United States is highly processed, pasteurized at high heat, and stripped of natural enzymes. Think American cheese slices, processed cheddar blocks, cheese spreads, cheese sticks, and many shredded cheeses. These products are dense in calories and saturated fat, but they are surprisingly poor at stimulating muscle protein synthesis in older adults. Why? Because they digest slowly, increase inflammation, and can interfere with insulin sensitivity, which is critical for muscle maintenance. Inflammation is one of the biggest drivers of muscle loss after 60. Chronic low-grade inflammation tells your body to break tissue down rather than rebuild it. Certain cheeses, especially aged and processed varieties, contain compounds called advanced glycation end products and oxidized fats. These compounds increase inflammatory markers in the body. When inflammation is high, your muscles become resistant to growth signals, even if you're eating enough protein. Another issue is digestion. Many seniors don't digest dairy as well as they used to. Reduced stomach acid, lower enzyme production, and changes in gut bacteria make cheese harder to break down. Undigested dairy proteins can trigger bloating, gut irritation, and immune responses that further raise inflammation. All of this pulls resources away from muscle repair. Then there's the calcium myth. We've been told for decades that cheese is essential for strong bones and muscles because of calcium. But calcium alone does not build muscle. In fact, without adequate magnesium, vitamin D, and vitamin K2, calcium can end up in the wrong places, contributing to stiffness and reduced mobility rather than strength. Many cheeses provide calcium without the full package your aging body needs to use it properly. Now, here's where things get interesting. Not all dairy is the same, and not all protein sources act the same way in an older body. There is one food that has been shown to stimulate muscle protein synthesis more effectively in seniors, reduce inflammation, and support strength without the digestive burden of heavy cheese. And no, it's not expensive, exotic, or hard to find. Before we talk about what to eat instead, it's important to understand why avoiding certain cheeses can make such a noticeable difference. Many people over 60 report that when they reduce processed cheese, they feel less joint pain, less morning stiffness, and better energy within weeks. That's because the body is no longer fighting constant inflammatory signals from food. So which cheese should you avoid if muscle strength is your goal? The biggest offenders are processed cheeses and heavily aged cheeses eaten daily. This includes American cheese, cheese singles, processed cheddar, nacho cheese, and cheese products with long ingredient lists. These products are often high in sodium, additives, and inflammatory fats. They are designed for shelf life, not for supporting an aging metabolism. Even large amounts of hard-aged cheeses like conventional cheddar, Parmesan, and Swiss can be problematic when eaten frequently. While they contain protein, the form and digestion speed of that protein is not ideal for older muscles, especially when inflammation is already present. Now let's talk about what to eat instead, because this is where real change happens. The most powerful replacement is not about removing calories, but about upgrading the signal you send to your muscles. One of the best foods for reversing muscle loss after 60 is high-quality, easily digestible protein that's rich in leucine. Leucine is the amino acid that flips the on switch for muscle repair. Older adults need more leucine per meal than younger people to get the same muscle-building response. Instead of processed cheese, consider foods like plain Greek yogurt, cottage cheese made with minimal ingredients, eggs, fatty fish, and high-quality protein-rich foods paired with anti-inflammatory nutrients. Greek yogurt, for example, provides protein in a form that digests more easily, contains beneficial probiotics, and has a better leucine profile for seniors. It also supports gut health, which plays a direct role in nutrient absorption and muscle maintenance. Eggs are another powerful option. They contain complete protein, healthy fats, and nutrients like choline and vitamin D that support muscle and nerve function. Unlike processed cheese, eggs do not promote inflammation when eaten in reasonable amounts. In fact, many studies show eggs improve muscle protein synthesis in older adults when eaten regularly. Fatty fish like salmon and sardines deserve special attention. They provide protein plus omega-3 fatty acids, which actively reduce muscle inflammation and improve the muscle's response to protein. Omega-3s make your muscles more sensitive to anabolic signals, meaning the protein you eat actually gets used for repair instead of wasted. If you enjoy dairy and don't want to give it up entirely, fermented dairy in small amounts is usually a better choice than processed cheese. Foods like kefir or plain yogurt contain beneficial bacteria that help digestion and reduce inflammatory responses. Just be mindful of added sugars, which can cancel out the benefits. Let's make this practical. Imagine your typical breakfast includes toast with butter and cheese. You might feel full, but your muscles are getting very little usable signal to rebuild. Now imagine swapping that cheese for eggs with vegetables cooked in olive oil, or a bowl of Greek yogurt with berries and nuts. The calories may be similar, but the message to your muscles is completely different. One meal promotes breakdown and inflammation. The other promotes repair and strength. Another important factor is timing. Older muscles respond best to protein evenly distributed throughout the day. Instead of loading protein at dinner and skimping at breakfast, aim to include a high-quality protein source in the morning. This is where many seniors unknowingly sabotage muscle health. Cheese-heavy breakfasts simply don't deliver the anabolic signal needed. There's also a hormonal aspect to consider. Chronic inflammation from diet interferes with insulin and growth hormone signaling. These hormones are essential for maintaining muscle mass. By removing inflammatory foods like processed cheese and replacing them with cleaner protein sources, you improve the hormonal environment needed for muscle preservation. Of course, no single food works in isolation. Strength training, even light resistance exercise, dramatically enhances the effect of dietary changes. But food comes first. If your diet is constantly sending inflammatory signals, exercise becomes harder and recovery suffers. I want you to think about how your body feels right now. Do your legs feel strong when you stand up from a chair? Do you feel steady when you walk? Muscle loss is not just about appearance. It's about independence, balance, and quality of life. The foods you eat every day quietly shape these outcomes. Avoiding processed cheese doesn't mean deprivation. It means choosing foods that work with your body instead of against it. It means understanding that your body after 60 has different needs, and honoring those needs is an act of strength, not weakness. If you've been eating cheese every day because you thought it was helping your muscles, you're not at fault. You were following advice that hasn't kept up with the science of aging. The good news is that your muscles are more adaptable than you think, even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Try this for 2 weeks. Reduce processed and heavily aged cheese. Replace it with eggs, Greek yogurt, fish, or other clean protein sources. Pay attention to how your body feels. Notice your energy, your joint comfort, and your strength. Small changes done consistently can produce surprisingly big results. And remember, muscle loss is not a one-way street. With the right signals, your body can slow it down, stop it, and in many cases partially reverse it. Food is one of the strongest signals you control every single day. If this information helped you see muscle loss in a new way, stay with us. We'll continue breaking down what really works for strength, mobility, and vitality after 60, using simple science and practical steps you can actually follow. Your best years of strength may not be behind you yet,